What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Jack, and I want to address something that might be a very deep topic today. Very long and very deep because, dang, that didn't come off right. I want to address something that's going on in our society that's kind of hard to get to the bottom of. And a lot of Christians, especially our Christian leaders, have not technically, in my opinion, addressed it correctly because they don't really have a full grasp of what's going on in this generation when it comes to why women are not getting married. Okay? So we're going to do a deep dive into why women are not getting married. I watched a channel, and I watched several channels. I told you guys I'm a fan of Fresh and Fit. I like the Roomates. We'll be talking about them a lot today. And I also like my brother Alan Parr. He is a pastor. He's a good pastor, from my opinion. From what I see, the stuff he put online, I haven't been to his church, but from what I see, he stands on the truth. He's a pretty good guy. I like and I would suggest his channel, especially to new Christians who are learning about the gospel. I think he pretty much is, I agree with him on most things. I'll tell you this, I'm not trying to nitpick him or anything like that. He did a video of the top 5 things for women. I forgot the exact title, but top 5 things I think women need to change or something like that. And I thought it was pretty good. To be honest, I'm not trying to just belittle him or criticize him. Every time people get on YouTube, they want to do a reaction video or they want to say something that they disagree with. That's not the purpose of this video. What I want to address is something, watching his video reminded me of a conversation I had with my dad, who is also a pastor. And he was also, me and him also had a minor disagreement about what's going on in society. And the reason being, I think we disagree is because when you're in church and when you're a pastor of a church, leader of the flock, it can be oftentimes that you're dealing with Christian people with Christian problems, but it's oftentimes hard to stand back and see what is society trending towards. What's really going on with feminism? How much has feminism crept into the church? And that's what we're going to see and address today, because I think this is a big problem that's going to become even bigger in the next generation. Let's check out Brother Alan Parr's video and just talk about that for a second.
That is, you need to stop idolizing marriage. Listen, there's so many single women out here who feel like life doesn't begin until I get married, right? I'm not going to be happy until I get a husband, or I'm going to put my life on hold and all these little things that I want to do, but I'm not going to even try to do any of those because I don't have a husband, right? So what happens, ladies, is this. When you start to idolize marriage and you start to put it up on some sort of pedestal that you feel like, well, man, all my friends are now getting married and so I just need to get married. My friends, listen, that leads to you settling for a man that is less than what you could have had you been patient and waited on the Lord. Let me give you an example. Many single women are so desperate to get married that they will settle for a man who is not spiritually yoked with them.
Okay, so this is what I have to say about that. Settling and women settling, even though, okay, let me address this first. What he's saying is absolutely right. I don't disagree with it. But I don't think it's one of the main problems. It wouldn't even make my top 5. And the reason why is because settling and women settling is not the issue. Women are opting out of marriage for very specific reasons. And we have to address that. A lot of times, from a Christian perspective, even when I was talking to my dad, who's also a good pastor, like I mentioned before, you will see that inside the Christian sphere, if you're inside the church, many women who are Christians want to get married, and they do have the problem that Alan Parr talked about, where they want to get married so much because they see their peers around it because they're in Christian circles. They want to get married so much that they will sacrifice on character and a man having godly traits, and they will go for a man that they are not equally yoked with. That does happen in the church a lot. More than I can even count. But what's happening in society is a lot deeper because women are choosing not to get married now. And brothers, the young brothers in the church, I see this even in my church, they're struggling to find mates. Good men are struggling to find good wives. And there's a reason for that. If I had to make a thesis statement, I would say this. Feminism has affected our society in such a way that women are now looking down on the average man. They not only look down on the average man with disdain, they don't even see the average man, no matter what character he has, no matter how godly he is, no matter how much he can protect him, they do not see him as an adequate spouse. In our society, right now, men are struggling, good godly men are struggling to find a mate because many women have accepted the feminist lie that a man has no value. Let me be even more specific. That he has no value if he cannot give you the financial fantasy that you want. I'll explain. Let's go to my boy Hafiz's channel, The Roomates. It's a very good channel. Check it out, especially if you're a young man that's trying to better yourself. I recommend this channel as well. He looks into a study, and this study has a lot of statistics in it. Has a lot of statistics. And these statistics are alarming to me for this reason.
It says marriage rates are on the decline in the United States and have been for the last few decades. Data offered by the United Census show that nearly 70% of men and women were married in the 1950s compared to about 50% in 2018. It's actually like 49%. So for the first time in American history, there's less married people than single people. With a near 10% increase during the same time frame of men and women who've never been married.
Think about what this study is showing you about the mentality of most women today. What are they thinking? What do they value? And what do they get from relationships and marriage? What are they looking for? Are they looking for godly character? Are they looking for good fathers for the children? Are they looking for somebody to protect them? Somebody to be their spiritual leader? Or none of the above?
For one more time, guys, what they did was they took a group of single women and they said, okay, let's look at their height, their race, money, income status, all these things generally speaking. And then they found who are women who look same age, same status, just like you, who happen to be married. So they found lookalike women, and then they said, okay, what are their husbands like? So these women look just like you, who have the same amount of money as you, same race as you. What are their husbands like? And they compared these women's husbands to the single available men that were in society, and he said these available men fall short.
Study is showing is actually very, very scary, because what it's saying is that on average, a man makes more than a woman at any stage of life. Okay, so if he's making $48,000, she's probably making $42,000 or $40,000. Okay, or $45,000, but he's making more than her. May not be a substantial amount, but he's making more. Even in that same bracket, the same lifetime, if they're both 42 years old, the women will not look at that man who's making a little bit more than them as a adequate partner. They want that man to make 55% more before they even consider him. That is what the average woman wants.
So I feel like if it was a man that was on the same level with me, if he wasn't doing better than me, I don't see what he could offer that would make me want to not settle with him per se, but like pursue a relationship and then like commit to him.
Kevin Samuels talks about this too. He talks about how in this modern generation, women have lost the need for men. They do not value men like they used to. Things like leadership, character, leading your family spiritually, protection. The fact that men are better with money. We save more money. Women spend more money. They make up most of the spending market. So we can save more money. The things that men provide are not valued by women, so much so that a woman will say, if he cannot provide me with the financial fantasy that I want, he has no value to me. I can raise a child on my own. I can do all these things on my own because they have not been taught. They have bought the lie of feminism that they are just as good without a man, which is a lie. But they have accepted it. And we're going to go even further.
The bottom 80% of men on Tinder are competing for the bottom 20% of women.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was a fascinating finding. Yeah, where they basically found, yeah, exactly what you're describing here, that men who are not exceptionally good looking or have certain status markers, they're having a much harder time on Tinder.
This has resulted in the feminine fantasy effect. I could call it Final Fantasy, because a lot of these women ain't never gonna find these men because they gonna die alone. And they gonna be very sad, because women need men more than men need women. That's a fact. So what's gonna happen? They're gonna continue fantasizing because of this special thing we have called social media. And social media, unlike any time before this, you can now compare your family's car to somebody else across the world's family's car. You can compare your husband to somebody else across the world's husband. How they dress versus how you dress, and get likes. And you can actually get famous simply by looking good. So what does this cause in most women? It's caused an astronomical big-headedness. We'll call it the word the Bible uses, pride. They have swelling pride now. Because now, before times, you have to go outside, dress really nice, and maybe you might get catcalled, or somebody would say you look good. If you look good and you twerking online, or you showing your backside and your backside nice, you can get paid, and you can get thousands upon thousands of people privately messaging you and just simply saying you look beautiful. Women have took that to their heads, and now, because they believe they actually in real life are that thing that everybody wants. They believe that they are that qualified. They are queens. They are on such a high pedestal, thanks to social media, that now their fantasies have grown so big, they have become unrealistic.
Heather bought me her list of requirements, so let's check them out. He must be between 30 and 45, financially stable, no kids, 5'10" or taller, no hookups or flings, ready to settle down, no roommates, no smoking, must love dessert and can't be anti-sugar. Must be honest, reliable, sweet and kind, quick-witted, romantic, must love food, must pay on the first date, no flowers on the first date, must be a social drinker, and must never wear sweatpants. Must be adventurous, must be humble, must be spontaneous, must be a planner, can't be self-centered, can't be cocky, must love dogs, can't own a dog from a breeder, can't be jealous of her dog, and can't own a cat. The hell, what?
This is why we have to refuse feminism in the church. It's because it creates a mindset in women that they are so well off, that they are so much better than men, that there's absolutely no need for men. And it creates a sad reality and a fantasy that doesn't exist. Okay? And I will say this, a lot of these women in the videos that I'm selecting are very attractive, but their minds have been warped by the lies that were told to them. And we need to slap that down, because what it is, essentially, the Bible calls it pride. They don't look at the man that's really on their level as being on their level. Everyone but the top tier man, the man that's making 200K, is unworthy of even speaking to them. If you work as a teacher and you work hard, you can kiss meeting any of these women goodbye.
The kind of men that single women likely would marry if they married, i.e. the synthetic spouses, were not only 26% more likely to hold a job. Is that how okay? And
I'm not mad at that first part. I'm mad at the last part.
But they also had nearly a 55% higher income than what the available men in the U.S. actually make.
Yes.
What we gonna do with that?
I mean, it's already hard to survive, really, like the way this world is set up, especially in our society.
Yeah.
So it seems like an unrealistic expectation.
Yeah.
That women we have this fantasy in our mind of how life should be.
What does it do for the next generation when you have told the world's women, especially the women of the West, that you don't have any need for men? What type of men do they bring into the world? Because as we can see, people ain't stopping having sex. That's for sure.
In my opinion, what social media has done, it has confused people to what's normal. If the pool of marriageable men falls short of what women want, women might rather be single than settle.
Wow, that's so crazy. That's so crazy because it's all we've been saying. Like, I think people get so butthurt about that. Like, why would I choose a lesser man who doesn't have all of the characteristics that I want, right? So not just here. So not
my video where I talked about having a good wife and how they need to be commended. I am so glad I'm married because this market right here, the women out here, I don't know if I could deal with them. I would probably be a monk and live in the woods somewhere because the audacity of some of these women. They don't think a man has anything of value to bring to their life other than a wallet. He is a walking wallet. Nothing he says, no boundaries that he lays, nothing about fatherhood, just the audacity.
A lot of men are hurt by this because the standards are not even fair. Because if you are a hardworking man working a 9-to-5 job, making $58,000 a year, you budget right, you do everything correctly, you're less than desirable, but you did everything right. Maybe you went to school.
I'll say pride. That's exactly what I mean. Because I'm talking about women who will not budge.
Is it a number or is it a feeling?
Oh,
Yeah.
Why does the numbers matter? Because
It doesn't,
What if
but,
he's
like,
5'10" and a half?
the thing is, I can
see
see
that.
you.
You can see half an inch. You can't go down half an inch. Jeff.
Like just for what?
Why would I have to?
Why would I do that?
When they say they want a 6'5" man, they will not settle for a 6'4" man. If they say they want a man that's making $200,000 a year, they won't settle for the man that's making $180,000. They will not budge because their pride is so swelling that they say, if I cannot have exactly to the T what I want, I will not accept it. This man has to be the perfect image of whatever I have in my head, or he is less than a man to me. I will not accept him. He's not attractive to me. He doesn't deserve any of my time.
A lot of women, this is the part that blows my mind, a lot of women would rather have children by themselves than to have children with a guy who has a job and he has money.
We can make our own money. And
I'm saying putting it together.
But why would I put together someone I don't like?
But the only reason, and what I'm saying is the only reason you don't like him is because he doesn't make as much money as you.
That's not the only reason. These men,
Everybody's not stable.
They're not
mentally.
They're
or
not
financially,
doing it for
I
us
guess,
in other
but
ways. It's not just a financial decision.
Want to see what's a clear indication of what's going on in today's society, and not just one woman that's talking or just a small percentage of women. The show Fresh and Fit has women from all around the world who travel there. From South America, they'll have people from all parts of the United States, mostly in the West. They've had Russian women on there, but it shows what's going on in this generation. They have numerous women. Sometimes they'll have a panel with 10 women a night, and they do a show pretty much every night. So this is not just some random thing. This is something that's really going on. If you watch this show, you will see overwhelmingly that this is not just me picking out a small percentage of women and picking on them. The overwhelming idea of this generation is like a hive mindset. They all pretty much think the same. Now, okay, when I'm saying all, I'm not saying all. I'm saying the majority of women in this generation share this mindset. There are a small group that don't, and hopefully God can use that group. But overall, if you don't go out there, you won't know. If you don't talk to people in society, you won't know. But overall, women share this mindset.
And the minimum income. Only because I'm determining off of myself, and my man's gonna be a reflection of me.
Yeah.
I would say 7 to 8 figures.
Okay.
He's got to be $1 million.
7-figure nigga.
Okay. So that's all the way.
All the way.
It only goes up to 300.
All the way up.
So let's just go up to 300K
much.
in
Oh,
between
shit.
that. All right.
It's
So
minimum.
we're looking for your ideal man right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
How much money does he have
it
to make?
just needs to cover my poker buy-ins and
Your what?
my poker buy-ins.
Oh, you gamble too?
And I don't gamble. I play poker. There's a difference.
Okay.
And honestly, like the more money I can steal and give to the church. So let's just go max.
All right, Max.
Max. Right
Find
now.
out next time.
Let's go, Jesus.
Special fit Z.
All right.
She has types between whatever.
How tall?
6 feet tall at least.
Okay.
And let's go for the max because we're dreaming big. We want to go on PJs on vacation, baby.
Exactly.
We want to go shopping.
Wait. Okay. Cool.
All right.
Let's see.
Let's see here. Okay. Point.
It's not bad.
All right. So you're as delusional as Miss Africa.
I at least want a doctor's salary. Like,
I would say that's
So
it's a
gonna
tough
be
job.
Hold on. Doctor salary, it varies.
It's a very
Yeah, so-
You want a
Okay, so
surgeon
put it at-
salary, or you want a doctor's salary? Surgeon.
You
You
could-
could put out 100,000 at least.
Okay.
At
6
least.
figures?
Doctors make
Yeah,
more
Why
than that.
can't I manifest that? I know, but what if you're not a doctor?
Okay.
I like to look
for
at-
you, for you.
Find out. Minimum, I would say 80.
In this part of the show on Fresh and Fit, they ask various women, and they do this on a lot of their shows. They ask various women what they want, from height to if they want a man that's overweight to what income they want from a man. And overwhelmingly, the women all have the same answer. And it's a man that's way above the average income of the average man in the US.
What I don't get is so many women, oh my gosh, who don't even make this money themselves. When there's a guy, when the average male makes more than you, why can't you take him?
What do we get from all this? What do we learn as Christians? Am I asking women to settle? Should I even care about this because I'm married already? I do care about this because I have a lot of friends who are struggling right now because they can't find a man. And I'll tell you this, I'm not telling women to go and just pick up any Joe Smo off the street. But what I'm telling them is they need to have their expectations level set. They need to be more realistic about what they want. They need to look at the things that matter and find a way to be attracted to those. If you have a man that's making $50,000 and he's a school teacher, but in your fantasy head, you think that you're going to find a man making $200,000 and he's going to be 6 foot and he's going to have 6-pack abs, and you think all that stuff, then maybe God is leaving you alone because you're unrealistic and you're being way too prideful. Because I'll tell you this much, a lot of the women that are asking for those things aren't those things themselves, as the statistics showed. A lot of the women who are making around the same that the men in their same bracket make, they look down on those men. So what they need to do has nothing to do with settling. It has something to do with getting your perspective right. Because as men, we have acknowledged in the church, it's been taught to us for the last 50-something years, especially when social media came out, not to lust after the wrong women. Not to lust after women for the wrong thing. But women, now it's you guys' turn to say to other women, you are being unrealistic. What you have in your head is a prideful outlook about how marriage should be. That is wrong. And we need to be a little stronger on them because I think we're too soft on the women right now. We're so soft on the women that we don't want to tell them you can't have that man. That man that's making $1 million a year, he's not for every woman. We don't want to tell them that because we don't want to hurt their feelings, but the reality is they need to be shut down on their pride a little bit because every woman does not deserve that type of man. And to think that you do, and to think that I'm not going to even get married or consider anybody else until I get what I want, is a very prideful way of looking at life and is very, very distasteful to all other men out there. So what am I telling you to do, women? Is to drop your pride and to start looking towards the things that God really, the qualities God really upholds. Character, being a good father, being a spiritual leader, being financially stable in general. Not just rich, but financially stable. Ask your father, what he thinks. Instead of going on Instagram and comparing yourself, comparing men to other men and all the men that can fly you out to Cancun or wherever you want to go or to Rome in Italy, that ain't necessarily the quality you need to be looking for in a man. And I'll tell you this, I have no problem in the financial department. I'm doing the best I ever did. So this is not a jealousy video. This is not me saying, y'all should like more men like me. Because honestly, I could fit a lot of those descriptions right now of men that are highly sought after. But I'll tell you this. It's a lot of men, good men, that are being passed over. Good, godly men that should be having families by now, that are being passed over because women have too much pride. And that's all I wanted to say on that. Thank you guys if you stayed through the whole video. Subscribe to Zeal Brothers because we're putting out videos every day. Peace out, y'all.